a video on hopefully replicating this burnt orange bitters that I made. So I burnt some oranges by mistake. I didn't want to waste them, so I kind of thought I tasted them. Tasted caramelized, burnt, but not in a bad way. So I decided that I wasn't going to waste them. I'd turn them and see if I could turn them into some burnt orange bitters. Worked out very well. However, I didn't really. I just kind of threw it together, and it turned out really well. So I need to, and I didn't get the recipe down. I didn't film it like I normally do. Like I normally film everything. So I thought what we'll have to do is we'll have to see if we could replicate it, burning these oranges to make this orange bitter. So the first thing we need to do is dry out or burn some oranges. So what are my thoughts on this? My thoughts are, do we need to dry out the oranges first and then burn them, or burn them? So they go like that. That was a bit by accident. That was a hot spot in the warming cupboard at work. So that's kind of what we want to do. So do I dry them out first and then turn the temperature up and burn them? Because obviously people at home haven't got a warming cupboard like I have at work. So do we dry them out first and then turn the temperature up to drive off the moisture and then char them on the outside? Or can we char them from fresh orange? Or can we take one of these dehydrated oranges and use the blowtorch on it? So let's try that first, and then what we'll do is we'll slice some oranges at the same time, and we'll put them in the oven at 150 degrees, and we'll kind of see what happens to them if they just dry out and then burn, or if they just burn and don't kind of turn out very well. So that's fine, and we'll just use that tray. So let's turn this on. That's working, that's fine. So we'll use that one and we'll see what happens. Maybe a little bit too high, that temperature. So let's see what happens. Okay. Right, so charring the, I want to say onions. Why do I want to say onions? Charring the oranges works like that. So that's kind of quite interesting. A different type of charring though. A different type of charring. But, and I'd really kind of quite like the dark charring of that kind of colour. But let's have a taste. See what we think. Not just as dried as. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. What does this taste like? Okay, so that tastes barbecuey. It's actually burnt. So it's got that woody, ashy kind of smell to it that you get from a barbecue, from charring something on a barbecue, rather than drying something out and caramelizing it slowly, slower, like that. So that's interesting. That's interesting, but it's a different type of flavour, is that. However, that's interesting in another way. That means potentially we've learnt something, and we might be able to utilise that in something. So if you were wanting to make a barbecue type of sauce or a rub and wanting to use orange, burning the oranges with the flame, drying them out and then burning them with the flame, and then putting them on the meat or into a sauce, that'd be really kind of quite interesting, because you get that wood kind of flavour to it, wood ash type of flavour to it, but with an orange scent. That's kind of quite interesting. That's not what I want to do. So that's not what we want though. So those out of the way, and we will baking paper Um, I, I was thinking here, I probably want to put them on a wire rack, but you can't really do that to dry them out in the oven because they're going to want to stick to the wire rack. So we'll have to use this. So we'll put a slice on, and then we'll cook these slices at 150 in the oven, and we'll see what happens. I think 150 would be about right, and we'll put some of the dried ones in, and we'll see what kind of happens. So if these ones that need drying out, these fresh oranges, don't work, we'll know that we need to dry them out first, and then we'll be able to caramelize them. While we're here, let's just take a bit of that and see what happens. Just out of curiosity. Nothing much. Not interesting. So, these on here like this. We'll have to turn them over halfway through drying stroke cooking. But that's fine. So those, and then we've got these ones that are semi-dried out already. We just need a little bit more. That'll be fine. So we'll see if this will be an experiment, see if we have to dry them out first, or if we can just get away with cooking them from wet. Those are dry, those are wet. So we'll be able to find out if we do that. So in the oven, 150 degrees. Is that centigrade? Yeah, centigrade. I'm sure it's centigrade. It doesn't say on my cooker. I'm sure it's centigrade. Yes, because it's Celsius, isn't it? So Celsius, centigrade, and then we'll see what happens to them. Right, so drying them out and then caramelizing them, burning them, certainly works. These are starting to toast on the outside, so let's flip those over and see what happens. I just need to keep an eye on those. I want them darker than that. I really want that kind of caramelized flavour to them. They're still a bit supple at the moment, but they'll dry out as they cool. But let's just taste them as it is. Getting there, getting there. I just want them darker. See, they're already starting to firm up as they cool. So, a little bit longer. Did we turn all those over? I don't think we did. I always get sidetracked. Can't remember. Be fine. So, back in. They've had about 20 minutes so far. We'll see how they go. Right, so they look a lot blacker than they actually are. So they've had about 40 minutes now of these and these. These are starting to caramelise. I've turned them over a couple of times. So it looks like we don't have to dry them out beforehand, but if we have got some dried ones, we can caramelise them further. Let's just have a taste. So what's actually happened is, I don't know if you can kind of see, maybe if we can move them, we'll be able to kind of catch the light. So we've got some shiny bits on, which I assume is the sugar coming out and crystallising. So they've just got a few shiny bits on there. So as you can see, just as the light kind of catches it, not so much here, but here, which I think is about the right kind of caramelization-ish, burnt-ish that we kind of want to go, because it's happened the same on this one. This was with the old batches that I burnt. They were darker. Were the ones that actually made the I don't know if I can see, but they were darker. So, the ones that I made the bitters with. So let's give that a taste. But it's also interesting to point out that for the sake of the video and the recipe, that one orange gives us about 9 slices, so 8 or 9 slices. No, I've tried one. I burnt one, didn't I? So about 10 slices per orange. So I'll be able to. Sorry, I'm just doing something. I'm just making my dinner at the same time. Yeah, I'm generally doing 2 things at once, because if I'm in doing something like this, I might as well be cooking my dinner at the same time. So we know that about 10 slices is from one orange. So we'll know when I write the recipe that if we're using 10 slices of slightly different sizes, then we know that that is going to be one orange. I'll taste this. Doesn't taste as caramelised as it did before, from what I remember. Have I got a dark one? I've got a dark one. Okay, it pays not to throw anything away, doesn't it? No, we haven't. Well, let's have a taste of this. See, that's got more of an orangey flavour to it. Let's just taste a bit of this. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting, isn't it? I don't want to do those anymore because we're going to lose. We'll lose kind of any kind of orangey flavour to them. Although these have got more orangey flavour. Probably because they haven't been cooked as much. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so not going to cook those anymore. We've still got some orange flavour, but we've also got the caramelised flavour. That's interesting. That's nicer. That's just on the peak of turning. We'll see how those turn out. As always, I'm thinking my way through things. How's it doing? So let's put this back in, and we'll see how long it's cooking. I will one day fix that oven door. One day. So put those back in, caramelise them some more, and see what happens to them. Right, they've had about 2 hours, so we don't need to dry them out beforehand. Let's just give them a taste. As you can see, just like the others, there's a little bit of a glint to them, which is the sugar. So you can see a little bit of glints of crystallisation and caramelisation. So let's have a little bit of a taste. Crisp, anyway. Yes. I'd say they're better than these. No. Not much in it. Not much in it. So, 150 degrees, 2 hours, keep turning them over, and they turn out like that. And that's what we're going to use in our orange bitters. I'm not concerned. That bit just hasn't quite caramelised. I'm not concerned about that. That's going to be a nice bit of flavour. Next, we need to faff around with, I don't know how I'm going to do this for you. Which kind of order? But next we need to faff around with, if we need to do 2 batches or do 3 separate things. If we need to soak some of these in some vodka, soak some other ones in some food grade alcohol, and then combine them with some orange zest bitters, or we can just put them all in one container with the orange bitters. Not with the orange bitters, we're going to make some orange bitters, so I need to go out and get some more oranges for the zests. If we have to do them separately, make 3 separate things and then combine them, or we can just do the one thing in the one jar. Let's have a see. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll work our way through it, and by the end we'll have replicated the burnt orange bitters. Let's see if I can think my way through making this bitters from the burnt oranges that we've got. So I'm going to do it 2 ways. I'm going to do it so we keep the ingredients separate, so a burnt orange with just vodka in, a burnt orange with the organic, not organic, well, yeah, it is organic, the food grade alcohol. Hopefully I've got enough. I don't think I have, but anyway, and then the orange zest bitters separate, and then one with all the food grade alcohol, the vodka, and the oranges and the zest in the same one as well. So, how am I going to do this? Okay, so we need to. So we'll use this as a measure to see how much vodka we're going to put over there. So. Okay. Right. That's an ish. So I'll remember roughly where that is, and there's not going to be enough vodka for there. Right. So that's about the right amount of vodka for that. They'll hydrate. That one's a bit more. Okay. That's a bit more. So that's about that for there. So what is that? I don't know what that is. That's not particularly very accurate measurement, is it? No. So there's a full one of those, so let's measure what it is in the about full one of those. So let's measure what that is in the jug. So that's about 100 milliliters. So 100 milliliters of vodka. So 100 milliliters of vodka in that one as well. And then we want. Now we need a lid out as well because we need to. This food grade alcohol. I've got some lids already. This food grade alcohol evaporates quickly, so we'll need a lid for that. So hopefully we've got enough. So we need equal quantities of. Might just have enough. So 100 in there over that. Close that up, and then 100 milliliters of that. Just enough. And then 100 milliliters in there, like that. So, just put that lid on. I don't want that alcohol to evaporate. It's got a habit of evaporating really quickly. So that's that. Put that lid on there. And then we need to make this. So this is the because that was. There's basically like an orange's worth of burnt oranges in there, and in those two containers there's an orange worth of burnt oranges in there, and then here I've got 2 orange worths of zest. It's about 16 grams, something like that. So we need to puree that down with some vodka, and then that will be the orange bitter part of it. So that in there, and then we'll see how much. Well, if we keep it, that's it. That's about 100 milliliters. Okay, so that'll be 50 milliliters worth of vodka each, if that's enough, in there. And then let's puree that down, and then we'll split that between that and then in its own little jar as well. Hopefully, will this work? Hopefully. Let's just give that a taste. I think there's probably too much vodka in there for that amount of zest. Let's give it a taste, see how it tastes. No, that's really orangey and vodka. That's going to be fine. So, fresh spoon. I'll have that in my mouth, and then I want to split it equally. Get that out of the way. So we want. Hopefully this will work. All very technical, this, isn't it? So that in there. That in there. That in there. it's not exact, but that way. It just seemed to like that was getting a little bit more zesting than the other. So that in there like that. That out of the way. Lid on there. Bit of a shake round. Lid on there like that. So those are fine. We'll see how that goes. So they'll probably need poking down. Oh no, they're softening up already. That's okay. So they'll sink when when they're a little bit more softened. So there we go. So I have explained this already, haven't I? That the way I made it before was that we had I made it in separate containers, and then I added the food grade alcohol one to the vodka one, and then I added some orange bitters to it. So this will kind of see if we have to do it in separate jars, or we can just do it in one jar and add it all together and kind of leave it. So unfortunately, it's going to get left for a month in the cupboard, just at the back of the cupboard, out of the way. I'll forget about it. So there'll be two parts to this video. So this will be the first part, and then the next part of the video will come straight out afterwards. It's just otherwise I have to keep something on my computer for a month, and without downloading it, and I can, I have to remember what it is on the computer and all that kind of stuff. So it's sheer laziness on my part that this is going to be two-parter, but it won't kind of affect. You'll be able to see how it was made, and then you can see the results in the second video, which will come out at the same time, so that won't be a problem, will it? But anyway, there we go. We'll see how this works.